Hey, my beautiful souls, you are listening to the Messyhumandoula and tarot. Alright, I know, you're like, wait, what? Weren't you just a tarot? I'm like, yeah, I had this really, okay, so I'm going to give you some context. So, I'm trying to tune into spirit right now, and they're saying, just go for it, just do it. I'm like, okay, so I'm an RBT. So I work with families and kiddos on the spectrum. Well, specifically kiddos on the spectrum. And I really actually do like working with families. It's awesome. I really love it so much. And well, I've been fighting with myself for a long while, about my direction, and I finally have conceded to the fact that I'm like a tapestry. I have all these different parts of myself that I have to fit in. I have separated these parts and tried to keep certain parts hidden, and I really realized that as Ruby Garnet. I'm going by Ruby Garnet for a couple of different good reasons. Safety, but also I no longer resonate with my current nickname that I have, that I took for while I was working with kiddos, because I gave them a name that that I resonated at the time. And now I feel more like a Ruby, and also too, it's professional protection. It's a very uncomfortable atmosphere professionally as an RBT. It's definitely not for those who are looking for an easy job. You really have to give 100% of yourself, and sometimes 120%. And you just try your best on a regular basis to give quality care. And I have been able to do that. I'm very fortunate that I have the necessary coping skills and the heart chakra for it. But there's something I've been very frustrated and very concerned with is the lack of wraparound services, which is problematic because when you're working with a client, you're not just working with the client. You have so professionally, you have a very limited range of motion. So I cannot support and help the parents. I can do a bare minimum, professionally. I am only allowed a certain amount of it's really hard to describe. It's one of those things as an LMHC, say because I took the LMHC track, right, once upon a time. Validate, that was always a thing, right? And you had a bit of a broader range in terms of talking with the parents or with other individuals, depending on the relationship, right? If you're doing family therapy, you could communicate to the parents about what you just have a bigger range. It really does depend, because if you're working with a partner, you can't tell the partner certain things, of course. But if you're working with a kiddo, you do need to have a certain type of relationship with the parents. Do you see where I'm going with this? As a doula, I have a different range of motion. I like to call it range of motion, emotionally and professionally, because as a doula, you're working with the whole family. You're not just working with one individual. So that means my relationship with my clients it really is very different. I can validate. I also to have more range of flexibility, because think about it, like I have to play this weird line between the BCBAs and the parents. So if there's a BIP, a behavioral plan, I really have to follow the behavior plan, and I sometimes like I can't. The parents want certain things, and I can't do those certain things. Like I am unable to move in that direction. But as a doula, I can validate, listen, have a blend of following the direction of the parents, and also to using my own experiences with families to support them better. And the nice thing that I like about being a doula, I'll give you this. Wow, this actually turned into a major advertisement I can put on Yelp. So if you see me on Yelp, that's where I'm at, by the way. That's where I'm at. Oh, now I'm feeling kind of weird because I don't feel that positive vibe energy. Where did it go? Where did it go? They're saying, like, let me feel it out. That's interesting. So it stopped right when I started talking too much about my work stuff. And this is really relevant. This is really important. So, something I've been trying to support myself through is staying in a really good space. So basically, if something doesn't feel good, you got to stop doing, or mix it up. So like work-wise, there's only so much I have control over. So, but what I have been doing to try to stay feeling in a positive place, I've been doing more of these episodes. Whether you hear them or not, that's a whole other thing, right? And it's because I'm looking for that angelic broadcast right now, actively. Going like, hello, where are you, angelic broadcast? You're out there, I know you are. You are there. By the way, check out my disclaimer. If you like anything, please comment, like, and subscribe. But also, too, check me out for services if you are interested in anything that I've said before. Yeah. So, where is this angelic broadcast, right? Oh, that's right. We were talking about parts. That's what the universe wanted me to talk about. Separation of parts. So, I spent a lot of time separating my parts because I felt like there was something wrong with certain aspects of myself. So I buried them, or I didn't combine them. And I really have been, there we go, there's an angelic broadcast. I felt it. As a human being, I want to be a whole individual. I don't want to be separate parts and pieces that the society gets to dictate what I'm allowed to retain. You know, I remember when I first took doula courses for postpartum depression, like a little way back, like was it about 4 years ago? And something that really kind of unnerved me was I brought this up where I was like, oh, I would love to combine my mediumship with doula work. And they said, well, and I'm like, oh shit, where is this going? And it was basically, they were implying that I should be careful with that because it may limit the ability to serve others, because they're only going to think that's all I do. And they're going to come to me because so like I wouldn't be able to serve other people And I'm like, no, I want to serve as many people as I possibly can because I want to help so many different people. And so I thought, well, okay, well, I'll just bury this. I'll bury this. I won't combine the two. And that had a very negative impact on me. But then recently, so I live in a cool town where they have this, so this dude is super smart. He combined his love of guitars and food together. And I was like, wait, you can do that? How? And if you think about it, when we accept our parts, we actually raise our frequency higher and we connect to this angelic broadcast. And it's so more than ever, it's so important for us to connect to this broadcast because it raises us and it actually can heal us and improve our mood. And when we are constantly micromanaging how we communicate, how we behave, it's not to say we shouldn't try to do better, but it's more like if we feel like there's parts of us that are bad, that they need to be put away, we lower our frequency. And I'll give you a prime example. So when I was younger, I constantly heard like what I was doing wrong and not what I was doing well at. But also too, I had this belief that I was never going to be good enough. And that certain things that I was doing was like just wrong. And even now talking about it, I feel weird. I feel like my frequency is lowering. And so I have to kind of like, okay, rinse that out, clear that out. And people don't do this on purpose, but there's this high concern for young children to belong. They're afraid that if they do not belong, they're going to be rejected. They're going to suffer. And that creates suffering in itself. Because mental health, right? As a psych nerd, but also to someone who worked in an inpatient psych hospital, I saw a lot of people coming in because they were afraid of so many different things. They were suffering because of so many different reasons. And sometimes what I noticed is they had a very strong concern about how others perceived them. And this was problematic because they had all these false, unrealistic belief systems. And we had to go through cognitive behavioral therapy to have them write out all their unrealistic expectations, beliefs, thoughts, and feelings, and what was a more healthy version. Like, for instance, oh, people are going to hate me if I don't do the dishes. And a more realistic belief system is that maybe they might be inconvenienced by it. They might feel frustrated. But you hear that? There's no hate in that phrase, correct? Yes, there's no hate in that more realistic term. And some people are not even going to care whether you do the dishes or not. I don't. When I go into home, I don't care. More often than not, I don't. If I could, I'd do it for them. As a doula, I can. Do you see the range of emotion right there? That's very different from an RBT and a doula. Wraparound services is you provide support in things like demands. This is what we call. Demand could be doing the dishes, doing a non-preferred item. When we increase another person's harmony, we look around at what can cause them, even if it's temporary relief. What is that temporary relief? If it's just sitting for half an hour and letting someone talk and communicate and tell me about how their day was, what are they feeling? I can't do that as an RBT. I can't. You know, when I was on the LMHT track, I liked that because I could do that. And I actually enjoyed that component, and I don't get that much anymore, and it is what it is. I gotta raise that frequency again. Wow, it can go down really fast. See how easy it is to lower your frequency? Ugh. But it's talking about me burying pieces of me to get by, to belong. And it's why it's so important for us to look at ourselves, look at our components or pieces, and find a way of blending them, gluing them back together, making them work in a more harmonious way. And how can we do that? How can we use what we have in a harmonious way? So for myself, I'm now the Messyhumandoula and Tarot. Why? Because it is very harmonious to do so. The person who combines his love for food and guitars, very harmonious. He's doing quite well, I might add, to the point where he actually is expanding his business. And he had this funny sign saying, "I bet you didn't expect me to be here for a full year." It was right outside his park. So he also too has a great sense of humor. He likes to write funny things on chalkboards, and people love it. They love it. They love it. He's combined so much of his good qualities together that it's raised his frequency. That's delightful. And actually being in his, oh my God, his coffee is to die for. Like, I had bought his coffee and it spilled everywhere. I was so upset. I had to remind myself, I'm like, well, at least I still have some of his incredible coffee. You know, like, thank you, Spirit, for the coffee. You know, because I was still trying to raise my frequency. He looked over me and he was like, oh shit, man. And I was like, but he has a business to run. So I was like, I didn't want to inconvenience him by asking him for another coffee. So I just left, crying inside. If I remember the name, I'll see if I can share it. It's the guitar melody or something, melody maker, something, I'm not sure. But okay, so some people are able to blend their qualities very well by picking professions that can get the most for their book. Some teachers are able to do that by that woman who does social media. She's a teacher and she loves being a teacher, but now she does a broadcast. Wow, she does a broadcast. She does a Harmonious broadcast, but she's on YouTube and she has a podcast and she is a teacher. She cannot tell you you can tell it's based on reality, right? But it's they're funny, they're comical, and she's great. We all love watching her. There's other people who have been doing that where they've blended their experiences, real life experiences, into social media where we get to have entertainment. And they're well, they're great actors. They love what they're doing. That it's a combination of all these wonderful components of who they are. And that's why I do this. I do this because this is a component of me. I love to talk. Hello. This is harmonious for me. This is very harmonious for me. Working with families, very harmonious with me. Doing tarot, very harmonious for me. Playing with children, very harmonious for me. The thing I'm missing the most now, though, I haven't had for a long time, though, that's bumming me out. So, by the way, I'm opening my doors as a doula. I am opening my doula doors for you guys because I miss that so much. really do. I remember when I used to have these incredible conversations. I really miss that so much. When I get that moment where you connect with the parent, there's something inside of you that thinks like, oh my God, like you had this positive impact on them, and that things are going to be okay. And it feels great. And I want to be there for you guys. I want to support you in the best way possible, because I think that families deserve it. You do. Oh, she's saying I can go. That's so nice of her. I do, again, like I have ready to be made orders for tarot. I will eventually will have other services, but for now it's just ready-made orders. Yeah. Wow, 303, that's nice. Yeah, so we gotta keep it all harmonious. So I think the lesson of this podcast is, how can you raise your frequency? It's so important for you to feel good to do that. And there's only so much I can talk about that, but we will have continued conversations. And I think that's kind of why when I do this, I talk about as much as I am professionally and ethically able to talk about, because I can't, obviously, about my work, I cannot. There's a lot of HIPAA reasons I cannot do that. So but I can talk about my own stuff, and that allows me to explain certain concepts with a lot more ease. And so when I raise my frequency, it feels really good. I can actually, like, I'll be in a, like, I remember, like, actually, like, I'll be in a low frequency and I'll raise my frequency so really fast and quick, because I did something that was very harmonious to my soul. And that's going to range from, like, maybe like a small habit, like self-care, like brushing your hair, doing a self-care routine. And it can be even, like, for some people it's changing their jobs, or for some people it's shifting their business, you know, like me, like I'm adding Doula services and not separating the two anymore. You see my point? I am pausing. I'm pausing. Wow. I have to pause. Sorry. Yeah, I had to. Oh, sorry. I have to wrap up in a little while. So I can get this out to you guys at some point. Yeah. You know what I hope to get eventually? I would love to have a co-host for the show. I would really love it. Just throwing that out there. But the right person hasn't come along, because no one's felt harmonious just yet. So I'm the only one doing this show, because it's more like I literally have, I put it out there. I put it out to spirit, and it's like, you have to wait. I'm like, what? So if you, it's only a matter of time. It really is only a matter of time before there'll be another person joining this team of me. I even want to create a team of doulas with a blend of different experiences. doulas do the best when we work together, I feel like. But all right, I gotta go. But yeah, y'all have a great day. Merry meet, blessed be. I'm into good health and talk.